Since 2015, I've generated hundreds of millions of dollars from Google search, employing and training over 150 SEO specialists. This is the second time in 15 years that I've seen a shift this big in SEO. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down 6 super clear steps that I would follow if I was learning SEO from scratch today in this AI search era. The first most fundamental thing is to understand how SEO and AI work together, what we call this new consideration era. Let me tell you a quick story. So I was having dinner with my chief of staff and buddy, Lawrence, and he was in the market for a new home espresso machine. I was just curious. I asked him how he was researching it, and he told me he hadn't actually Googled much at all. So I asked if he minded showing me his search history. He showed me his phone and it started in ChatGPT. You know, he had these questions about all these Reddit threads comparing these models, and then there were these YouTube reviews. There was no single keyword journey like we're traditionally used to. The decision had already been shaped before Google even mattered. Now, if I was starting SEO today, this is the map I'll use as my guide. It shows where decisions are actually happening, and once you see it, AI SEO stops becoming confusing. So when I started in SEO, I didn't understand search engines. I copied what ranked. If a competitor was doing something, I mirrored it. If they repeated something, I just repeated it more. And you know what though? It worked really freaking well. But then every year, Google would just roll out these big updates designed to wipe out this kind of spammy behavior. And I noticed the people who adjusted and adapted were the ones that kept winning, but the people that copied, like myself, were just blindly disappearing. It was very much Mr. Miyagi time, wax on, wax off. Juniors had to understand those fundamentals first: how search engines crawl, how they index, how they trust things, why they ignore things. SEO is applied understanding, not a checklist in 2026. You can't just do a site audit in SEMrush and fix those things anymore. Third thing that if you nail, you are going to be so far ahead is to completely rethink keywords and start owning topics. I ran an exercise last week with the team, and we had the same task, the same intent. It was to buy a plain white t-shirt. The first rule though was no Google. Everyone had to start in AI tools, some in ChatGPT, some in Gemini. And what came back was all over the place. You've got one person asking for a heavyweight tee that holds shape. One person was obsessed with how many times it would survive a wash. You've got the same product, different results. You've got these completely different prompts and decision paths. Then when we lifted that Google restriction, most people just typed some variation of, what would you search? White t-shirt or best white t-shirt in Australia. And that contrast was that shift. AI search isn't funneling demand into one clean keyword. It's expanding that intent across the context, the constraints, and any personal trade-off. Like that person that's wondering, how many times can I wash a t-shirt? Something I never would have thought of. So that keyword first SEO breaks entirely in AI search. If you optimize just for one phrase, you miss the real decision. But if you actually own the topic, then you appear across a bunch of different prompts without actually needing to chase them. And that's how you're going to scale visibility now in 2026. This one's also super important and isn't spoken about that much, but it's around nailing your authority on-site and off-site. In the early days when I started, my business grew through referrals. Claims on your website, they really mean nothing unless the rest of the internet agrees. And we spoke about earlier about stopping chasing keywords, but what I started chasing was proof. So on the website, we rebuilt everything around social proof. And this is for a B2B company. We published over 50 different detailed case studies. We stacked 250 different reviews and testimonials and clear evidence everywhere it mattered. Not because it looked good, but because authority needs those receipts, you know, or people just don't trust these days. And offsite, I applied the exact same thinking to my own brand, which is a separate B2C brand called Caddy Luggage. Instead of writing just more product pages, we looked for, I guess, a story that people cared about in the travel space. So not luggage, which is what we sell, but travel. I was trying to come up with a story angle to do the RAIDS protocol, which is this whole digital PR thing that you can watch in a second. And I was traveling with my bag and with an airline in Australia called Jetstar. And they just slog you with these hidden fees. My bag was 0.1 kilo over the weight. They slugged me $50 just for that. And so I came up with this idea, well, what about if we did a piece around airline add-ons and hidden fees? The thing that everyone complains about. So we pitched this tight list of travel and consumer journalists that were already covering that topic. Those placements turned into backlinks, brand mentions, citations, and actual customers. But then something really interesting started happening. Those articles didn't just drive referral traffic, they started surfacing in all the AI answers. When people were asking about hidden fees or baggage limits or the real cost of flying, Caddy was showing up. Not because of some keyword, but because the internet had validated us inside that topic. That led to 4 or 5x our growth across organic search and our AI-driven referral channels. Just from the digital authority there compounding. What I'm trying to say is that on-site proof builds trust fast, but then you need the off-site proof to supercharge that through things like digital PR. If you want to be winning in AI search, you've got to stop assuming that people know you and start thinking like a customer, deciding whether to trust you or not. The fifth one I did when I was young and starting out, and it saved me years of learning or fast-tracked me a ton. Do real SEO work on a real website. You just can't learn SEO in theory, right? Every meaningful lesson I've learned has come from working on a live website. I've launched dozens of test websites over the years to test ideas properly. Real builds, real money. Recently, I launched this fake landscaping business as a test. It's got no brand, no authority, no history, and we ranked it inside ChatGPT for best landscaping in Melbourne within 2 weeks. That just came from an understanding of how systems respond when you push and pull the right levers. Websites really teach those instincts. You really start to feel how algorithms react. You stop guessing. I guess you start recognizing these patterns. It's really intangible. It is keep it simple for the client. They do not want to hear about technical SEO strategies, complex things, server log analysis. They're normal people. They don't care about SEO as much as you do. They get value from us SEO specialists because we can communicate clearly. That mindset is super important to grasp early. When I had the chance to pitch our first big client, Officeworks, we did this technical analysis. We found this big issue that was going to nuke their whole website around client-side rendering at the time. And I remember I said to him just moments before, remember to deliver it simply and we'll win it. We didn't lecture them. We didn't judge their team. We didn't drown them in jargon. We just explained the outcomes. What would happen if they launched it that way with a client-side website? What's going to break? And what would improve if we actually fixed it? We spoke about it in plain language. We didn't explain the intricacies of JavaScript foundations and modeling and server side, and we just explained what was going to happen and how we could remedy that. If you can't explain why something matters, it won't get implemented. I love the saying, really great practitioners can explain something as if they were talking to a 5-year-old. A great SEO's top skill is that clear communication. It doesn't matter whether you're in-house, an agency, or even if you're just learning this for your own business. It's why we value communication as highly as technical ability when we're hiring. AI hasn't killed SEO at all. It's exposed who actually understands how people decide and purchase. So if any of this helps, please subscribe. It means a lot. And ask any questions you have in the comments. I'd be really happy to engage with you guys.